Okay, well, now that we're getting near the end of February, I'm really excited because the Women's March has happened.
Yep.
And International Women's Day is coming up. And it's such an amazing time. I feel like it's become so popular to talk about feminism, talk about female empowerment, hashtag women supporting women, all those different things. Did you guys go to the Women's March that happened last year?
I did not.
I didn't make it, no.
No?
No, I saw a lot of coverage on it. I see you talking about it.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
That was a really happy coincidence because someone else was supposed to talk. I mean, unfortunately for them, they could not because of some family dynamic emergency, but I was asked the day before to talk about being a woman leader in the community, a business owner, to talk about my experience and my journey. And then the main idea is to potentialize women. For women to realize that whatever they have in mind, they can do it, because women are typically held back by their own minds, by their preconceptions of how they were brought up, and by society. And so usually we need to feel 200% certain that we're doing something
before we allow ourselves to.
Whereas men don't wait that long. They just try it and they continue to pivot. And so
they also owe no one explanations, apparently. You know what I mean? I feel like we also do that to ourselves.
And so it was really great for me to get to talk about my journey with the Prix. I very much had doubts when I started, and I guess imposter syndrome, where you don't think that you have the skills or that you can do it. Even though I had leadership skills, but I still felt at a loss. And then also talking about, I guess, feminism and supporting women. And then with fashion, if you're buying from, I guess, unethical brands that are employing women in maybe sweatshops or like in slave labor. So just being mindful about where your money is going, because you vote with your money. But then at the end, I had some people come up to me that had listened to me in the crowd and asked me questions. And I had other people recommend me to, I guess, someone they were mentoring. And it was so much fun to be able to collaborate with other female entrepreneurs that were either just starting out or wanted to pick my brain on how to start, and then even watch their journey. Which was really fun. And I really liked it because it was about, they would say, you know, what does feminism look like? And then everyone in the crowd would just say, this is what feminism looks like. And this is why your shirt is perfect.
The future female. I love this shirt. Can I say, like, I've wear it often. I've worn it teaching, like with a blazer over it. I've worn it casually. And I've had people come up to me. I feel like men kind of side-eye me sometimes because they're worried that I'm going to, like, I don't know, break out into this public rant of feminism, perhaps. But I've had a lot of women come up to me and ask me if I get a lot of people, like, asking me questions or making comments when I wear this shirt. And I hadn't even thought about it until this one lady asked me that. I put on a t-shirt and I wore it. I understand it's a graphic, it's a message, but I didn't even think twice. And then she's like, do people come up to you and say, like, oh, your shirt? And I was like, you know what? I didn't even think that was going to have to be a thing. I didn't even think about that. But she's like, yeah, I was just curious. She's like, because I know that shirt, I want it, but I was worried people would be like, oh, super feminist, and like, oh, if I talk to this girl, she's going to, like, you know, rant about these. I'm like, why can't I just wear a damn t-shirt that says the future is female?
To give the flip side of that, there are a lot of very strong feminists out there who do, I'm sorry, I know I'm going to get some hate from this, but go a little bit overboard.
Constantly
with
make
their
a
rants,
point.
Constantly make a point. And also, I mean, I know I might get some hates from you guys as well for saying this, but I think it's important to bring this up, that, you know, feminism in our generation especially, I feel like it's almost gone a little too far in some regards. Like, I know that it's very important to get the message out there. I know that females have been oppressed for way too many years, and it's not fair to us. It's really not fair from our history. And it's amazing. It's incredible the changes we've made, just the fact that we're all sitting here today. But I think it does go a little too far sometimes, to the point where some feminists who go overboard with it are actually oppressing men in a certain degree.
I know what you mean.
I don't think that an effective way to get the message of feminism out there, or get the message a message of equality, because I like the word equality better in certain ways, is to just take an oppressed gender that's been oppressed for so long that we have so much anger that we're just doing the same thing.
Yeah.
We're going and we're oppressing men, and we're never going to oppress men to the degree that they have oppressed us. It's just never going to happen.
Yeah.
Based on, how
And we shouldn't.
it's happened.
We shouldn't. There's no reason to
But-
repeat those mistakes. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but I feel like it does go too far sometimes. As important as it is, I don't think that fueling the fire with
The same
more
actions,
fire, the same
essentially.
actions.
And then
Yeah.
I feel like that's a lot of people see that and think that's all that feminism
Yes.
is.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
then it gives it like
that's-
a bad name, and
yeah.
it's just
It
like that
does.
small group of people that is like really over the top about it.
Yeah.
It's like, I get it, you're passionate,
Right.
but like, a lot of people don't respond well to
Yeah.
Of course.
angry
It's very
shouting.
stark. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not like they're taking it too far or they're like going overboard or
Yeah.
they're talking about it too much or anything like that. It's the misunderstanding of what
Yeah.
feminism is.
Truly
And
is,
Andrew,
yeah.
are you a feminist? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So
love that.
I think because of that small group of females, men don't connect with being a feminist, and
Yeah, for
really
sure.
being a feminist is just wanting equality.
Yeah.
And so I think
agree.
that's where the disconnect is, and some women want to step on men to get ahead, where really we should just all be equal. The true feminists, they just want to be equal. They want equal pay. They want to not be grabbed.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think they're necessarily I don't want to
Super
say like,
difficult
oh, you're
task.
going overboard, because I don't want to discredit people's passion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But some people are sending the wrong message.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
a sense that it's like feminism
It's
is
getting
all
muddy.
about like
Yeah.
screwing the man.
Yeah.
That's
Not
the
those
wrong
pork
tone.
terms.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, oh my
Word
gosh.
choice.
You know what, though?
Quite the opposite. Yeah.
But that's like any ideal, that there are people who have their perceptions of it and promote it, but the more we talk about it and
Yeah.
the more that people support it, then the average will become
Yeah.
what it should be.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, it also has to do with like toxic masculinity, and that
Yeah.
men should be able to express their emotions.
Yeah, it
That
goes both ways.
women should be
Exactly.
able to wear the shirt without being afraid they're gonna get harassed.
But even this shirt, to me, like when I got it, I loved it. Well, I love a good graphic white tee anyways, but I just thought, to me, and like if you go into feminism and girl bossing and this moment of the Me Too, to me, this shirt just says like, I think we still deserve a minute to celebrate all of the new avenues we've explored with girl bosses and women being much more empowered and supported. So it's not to be like, oh, quiet all you white men over there, this is our time.
And I think that's how people take
That's
it.
how
Yeah.
people
Rather
perceive
than
this to be
say
like,
the future is.
That's how the
is
men.
well,
it's
the
to
men are
celebrate
taking
that
it.
we've now come up this much to almost
Yeah.
get closer to equality. Like I think we deserve a moment to celebrate that.
Oh, for sure.
So I just want to say like,
Yeah.
the future is female. Like look at all these amazing things we can do. We're going
Right.
to contribute to building the future just as much as a man could.
Yeah.
But I agree. Like, I do understand the overboard comment. I get it. I
Yeah.
think the other half of feminism to me is I'm cheering for the guys, like the boys. Like,
Exactly.
just even the makeup today, I thought about this. Every person who's ever done my makeup has been a woman.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's just a women-dominated industry. But I thought about, what about that young teenage boy that is so passionate about doing makeup but can't really quite come out with that passion?
Exactly.
My, like, viewpoint of feminism is I'm also cheering for those
Yeah.
boys. They should reach other barriers, of equality that they've been faced with.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think we have to remember the conversation works both ways.
So that's actually something I learned at the 2018 Women's March, is that the concept is intersectional feminism, which will actually look at, LGBTQ plus people.
Yeah.
People
that whole community too of gender.
Yeah,
Yes.
the people, in theory, I'm a white settler woman, and so even within the scope of feminism, I don't experience some of the other sexist things that would happen to someone who would be an immigrant or from like an immigrant line. And so having that illuminated to me was something that I didn't even think about. And that the people that are in, I guess, minority groups compared to white settler women, we should be having the uncomfortable conversations because they experience so much more that I can't comprehend.
Agreed.
And so having that brought up there was amazing.
Yeah.
Because as you're saying, like, I guess like the concept is beauty boys, for, like interested in
Yeah.
makeup and even now Prix is part of the Rainbow Pages, which is the like the spectrum, the LGBTQ plus directory as a safe space. And it's been really exciting for me to even get to work with, I guess, queer or transgender people, and really fun to have that comfort and like life sharing. And I feel like having the intersectional feminism information exposed has really helped me understand more feminism and not just.
There's so many more dimensions to it than we tend to focus on that one avenue always.
I think the name is misleading.
The name is misleading.
With the feminine, like it's
so misleading.
It's because at first, when it was coined, like we literally needed to do everything for women.
All encompassing. Word feminine seems to work for this.
But I really do like your point, Kiki, because I feel the same way about feminism. That, you know, what about the heterosexual male who wants to wear a scarf but feels like he can't because his friends will make fun of him? Like a statement scarf or
that's part of it.
Be passionate about fashion.
Anything. Exactly, because it affects men too.
Or like literally crying. Which
emotion,
mental health for like straight men is insane because they're like not allowed to display any kind of emotion.
Exactly. Like boys have to be these like burly kind of you know, drinking beer with the guys, and no, it's true, and it's horrible because the oppression of females has affected the oppression of feminine qualities within males.
Absolutely. Yes, that was so well said.
And women can have what we're calling masculine qualities, and men can have what we were calling, you know, feminine.
Which makes me think, like, will there be a point where those aren't identifiers anymore, like attached to a sex, like something like makeup, saying that's a feminine industry and something associated with women, so that a male takes on feminist characteristics? Like, can we ever just be like, they enjoy makeup? And like women have these qualities that are no longer identified as masculine qualities. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would love if we could get to that neutral place.
Like, because now there's I can't think of like any names to reference it, but like a large magazine did like a photo shoot with a male. He's famous on Instagram, and he like does amazing makeup and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's like there's progress being made.
But I think identification is just a way that we take like a majority and just make it easier for us to describe things in a conversation.
Because that's what we're used to.
Right,
we're also like trying to change norms that have been, you know, around forever. How do you get people to just all of a sudden, like, it's going to take time?
We might not even see it in our generation.
I don't think that we will. I think we'll see baby steps.
We'll see, like, it'll be a lot for us, but I think in the long run, like, it's not.
It takes a lot of time because it's in parenting. Like, I was reading this article about how when a daughter like did her chores, she just did them. But when the son did the chores, the parents were like praising him so much, like, oh my gosh, good job. Like, So I think it's like these tiny little subtle things that we do with parenting that at the end of the day, like, isn't like terrible or anything. You're not doing anything terrible. It's just, you know, maybe just try to pick up on subtle little cues how you're treating your kids differently.
For sure. I think the subtle cues are amazing. Like that's super disheartening to hear you say that. But then I think there's like the extremist views in like socialist countries where they're very much about like, okay, to my 7-year-old child, do you feel like a boy today or do you feel like a girl today? And I think that's like very extremist. Like, I don't know, like I think non-identification is, I feel like we're getting a little bit extremist with it. I think it's important to have these equal views, and neutrality is important to a certain degree, but we can't just be completely non-identification because I don't know, I think that it diminishes the point to some of our conversations, and it diminishes the point to how we explain things. And at the end of the day, you know, there's still going to be things that we deem as feminine qualities and things that we deem as masculine qualities, and I don't see a problem with that as long as we don't make it a problem, as long as we don't make it so that you can't have masculine qualities because you're acting too much like a man.
Or that only like self-driven, hardworking, you know, ruthless. Like those words shouldn't just be identified with men anymore. To be, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
There can be many feminine. Yeah, I thought of a lot of women I know that are like.
I do too.
But like just getting further away from that. But I agree, we do need identifiers for certain things.
I
mean,
I don't think there's anything wrong with identifying.
No,
as,
I don't think
but
it's
allowing anyone to fit in that descriptor, I guess. Yeah.
But the unfortunate part about having like the division of qualities for feminine and masculine, they are so subtly ingrained, I'm going to say North American culture, because we made progress, that it affects how people perceive people at work. I mean, most of the time the problems are at work because most of our day is at work. Yeah. And so getting into a position where you might have a job, and if you have your resume with a male name or a female name, they automatically deem the male to be more high performing, even though it's the identical resume in
or
research.
They could not hire you because you have a female name for a certain
Can
reasons.
I just tell a Taylor Swift story?
Oh my gosh.
Because
I love her.
The Netflix special.
I've watched the
very
Netflix special
strong,
several times. No, it's just an interesting story. So her dad's in the financial world, and her mom, I think in an interview where Taylor said this, I say it like she's my best friend because in my mind she is. She said in an interview that her parents specifically chose to name her Taylor, a name commonly used for boys and for girls, because they assumed if she ever entered any type of professional world, but finance especially, that someone reading her resume wouldn't know if she was male or female, and therefore make an initial judgment. So they went with a neutral name that they were like, you don't know if this is my son or daughter.
Smart, but sad, but smart.
It's sad that they felt like they had to do that, but like
a smart way of
kudos, it was
thinking
very
about
smart
it
because they were like, I don't want,
benefit.
I don't want anyone to be like, oh, it's a girl, she's whatever, less qualified, or we have concerns. They just said they don't know.
Well, people in different cultures do that as well. Like if your name is associated with a certain culture or skin color, they're encouraged to change their name on their resume.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. It's interesting. Yeah. I guess just to leave this feminist conversation.
This could go on for weeks.
I have a quote from one of my favorite signs that I saw at a feminist rally, and it says, "I am not free while any woman is unfree, even if her shackles are very different than my own."
Nice.
I love that.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in to the Fresh Talk, and we'll see you in March.
Bye.
I always want to clap.
Our goal this month is to focus on checking in on those New Year's resolutions that we set in January. We want to see how everyone's doing, with a particular focus on both fitness and finance. So we have an expert from each respective field here today to answer our questions, share some tips and tricks, and there will be demonstrations. All right, so starting off with fitness, we'd like to welcome Mike Simpson.
Hello.
Yay!
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.